We are 25 subscribers away from reaching 7,000. This is the #1 growing Broncos YouTube channel out there. So if you're looking for free Broncos news, rumors, anything revolving the NFL draft and free agency, this is the channel for you. So please go ahead, subscribe if you have not already. And without further ado, let's get into today's show. And speaking of today's show, it is free agency grades for the Broncos. So we're going to look at every single player the Broncos have signed so far. And I checked like 2 times to make sure I didn't forget like a no-namer. But we got them all in there. And we're going to go red pen, old school style here, and give them a letter grade A through F. So the first player up, Randy Gregory with a B+ grade. This is a combination of the contract they're getting and how good the player is. So let's look at every contract we get for all these players. Randy Gregory signed that 5-year, $70 million contract, $28 million in guaranteed money. Maybe you were expecting an A grade. I'm not all the way quite there on an A grade. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But let's rewind the tape a little bit and look at what Gregory did in 2021. 6 sacks in 12 games. Not bad stuff right there. He's always been, on the cusp of really breaking out. We just haven't been able to see him truly break out because we haven't seen him play a full season. And that was one of his biggest issues in Dallas, which is, can he go out and play a full 16-game slate? And I'm still waiting to see that from Randy Gregory. So, I'm looking at my notes here. He's played in a handful of games. We'll look at the percentage in a moment. But are you excited for Randy Gregory and Bradley Chubb to be teaming up and be the edge rusher duo for the Broncos in 2022? It'll be weird not seeing Von Miller out there to start the season, right? I think we have hit a couple milestones of first game without Von and whatnot, but it'll be weird, right? First game, not seeing Von Miller. But give me a Y for yes or an N for no if you're excited to see these two guys out there. Like I just mentioned, though, Gregory has had some issues, and I don't want to, beat a dead horse here, but he's only played in a total of 53% of possible games. Drafted in 2015, 2016, and of all the games, if he was healthy, every single one, he's played only 53, so only half the games, and that's hopefully changing as the NFL has loosened itself and loosened its policies on substance abuse and whatnot, and he's been kind of getting on the clean and narrow road, but hoping the best for Randy Gregory, hoping he can kind of, turn a page a little bit in Denver and maybe get a fresh start. Maybe that's what he needs. Second free agency grade, D.J. Jones, give him an A-. Better than Randy Gregory, honestly. Not a better player, necessarily a better signing, a better potential, but I like the contract for D.J. Jones. An under-radar kind of player signed a 3-year, $30 million contract, $20 million guaranteed. I like this move a lot. This is not an exact Shelby Harris replacement, but what he did for the 49ers last season, played a full slate of games, essentially, 2 sacks, good run stopper. That's what Denver needs, especially when you look at how good this AFC West has been getting. You got to fight fire with fire. You got to bring a machine gun to a gunfight, because if you bring a pistol, you're going to end up like one of those news stations in Anchorman. Brick's going to throw an axe at you. That's how it's going to work. So Brick stabbed a guy. All right, what grade would you give George Paton overall in NFL free agency? A, B, C, D, or F? I'm not going to include the Russell Wilson trade because then it's an easy A. Excluding Russ, what would the grade be? Let me know. A, B, C, D, or F. Next player, Josey Jewell. I'll give it a solid B. I don't think it's anything you got to change your pants over, but it's not a bad signing. I like Josey Jewell, all right? I signed him to a 2-year, $11 million contract, and he was good for Denver in a game and a half last season. I liked him a lot in 2020. I felt like 2021 was supposed to be that breakout season, and we never quite got it because of the injury. He tore his pec in the Jags game on a meaningless special teams play. That's always a bummer to see. And this will come a bit hypocritical, but I am just a fan of Josey Jewell. Over the offseason, I was talking if it's Jewell or Johnson, if they can only sign one, who would it be? And I went with A.J. Johnson, mostly because he went to my alma mater. But I do like the type of player Josey Jewell is, right? A grinder, not a first-round pick, comes out of Iowa, farm boy kind of player. And I just like to see that my defense of someone who's ready to hit someone, someone who wants to hit someone. And you don't get that every day in the NFL right now, and not everyone likes to hit people. So with that in mind, who is your favorite signing? Those are 3 names so far. Try to balance out the name and the contract, right? You got to find that's a good player, but a better contract for what they got them for. Let me know your favorite signing down below. Next one, maybe the sneakiest of all. How about DeShawn Williams? Comes over from San Francisco with D.J. Jones, and he's going to be your next Bryce Callahan. He's signed to a 2-year, $5.5 million contract, and that's part of the reason I gave him an A. He's a very good corner. He's a very good slot corner with the Broncos needed, and you get him for just a couple bag of footballs, it felt like, 2 years, $5.5 million to be a starter. That's very good value for someone to walk in and be a starter on your team. Another great measuring tool for this signing and the D.J. Jones signing. Niners fans are upset by it. I work across, like a little diagonal kitty corner from our San Francisco guy here at Chat Sports. He was pretty ticked off when I got the Twitter.com notification about the signings. He's like, damn. I was really hoping San Francisco would bring those guys back. So that's always a good measuring stick, I like to say, of, hey, this is a great signing right here for your team. If you can go out and get a player that another team or the other team liked a lot. It also kind of reminds me of the Bryce Callahan signing back in 2019. 2018? 2018. Coming over from Chicago, where it's like, this is one of the better up-and-coming slot corners. He's not your Revis Island outside slot guy, outside corner, but he's going to make you pay over the middle. That's who he reminds me of, and not necessarily play style, but the signing where it's like, you got him for cheap, right? Callahan wasn't cheap necessarily, but I felt like the Broncos were getting a good deal right there. Unfortunately, he just couldn't stay healthy. All right, moving on here. First, I want to tell you guys about an awesome deal going on with our friends at Fanatics. If you don't want to get a Russell Wilson jersey, how about what producer Marsh calls a jersey? I like it a lot. I'm getting this one in white. They have it in blue. They have it in orange. Just get it at chatsports.com/Wilson shirt. The link's in the comments and the description of the video. So if you don't want to, fork over the big bucks for a brand new Russell Wilson jersey, you can get this way cheaper. It's an awesome deal. Wear it because it's getting warmer outside. Summer's around the corner, and you want to have a nice Russell Wilson t-shirt. So get yourself hooked up at chatsports.com/Wilson shirt. Next free agency grade is Tom Compton. I don't know what it is. I just realized that's a lot of Niners right there coming over. Are they all carpooling? Like just share one big U-Haul and road tripping on 80, I guess? Something like that. But I give it a B-. It's a 1-year, $2.25 million contract. Like the contract, I think, reflects what Denver's expecting out of him. To compete and likely not win the job, but to be your sixth man, kind of like Calvin Anderson and Cam Fleming last year. If an injury happens, you're the first offensive lineman to step up. We'll look at Billy Turner signing in a moment, but here's my projected depth chart for Denver going into 2022. I think after Turner signed, he is no longer in the run. He's not going to clear-cut favorite to be the starting right tackle. And speaking of Billy Turner, I give him a B+ grade. If any of you guys watched my Billy Turner signing video after last night, I don't know if I should apologize or thank you for being a part of what was a very memorable moment for all of us of a show I remember, but not all the details. And I forgot some of the details in my drunken rant outside a bar watching Gonzaga. F up my bracket. So Turner signs a 1-year deal up to $5 million. Don't have all the details right now. And I think he's the favorite to start at right tackle. I thought it might be a Calvin Anderson, Tom Compton battle. Now it looks like it's going to be Turner, who returns to Denver. Round 2, former third-round pick out of North Dakota State. Signed a 4-year deal in Green Bay. Had a nice comment in the video, so I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. But they kind of hit the nail on the head here. I'll just steal their words, which was Turner was good just aside from the penalties. It's been a couple of years, and kind of like when Garrett Bowles started off, it was the penalties. I was like, damn, this guy has so much potential, but it's the penalties. So hopefully Turner can kind of move on from that in his career, and he returns with his old O-line coach, Justin Newton, and Nathaniel Hackett, who were in Green Bay. So all of them are carpooling. Everyone's just coming from either San Francisco or Green Bay. Are you excited for Billy Turner coming back to Denver? Give me a 1 for yes or a 2 for no. Don't be a Debbie Downer, though. Give me a 1 for yes. Let's buy into Billy Turner round 2 working out better than it did the first go-around. Let me know what you think down below. Calvin Anderson comes back. I'll give him a C+ deal. Maybe that's a little harsh, but remember, C's average. not everyone can get A's just because they got a nice smile and they're a really nice name and really nice guy. 1 year, $2.5 million contract to likely be the backup again, right? I think Billy Turner's the favorite right now. I hope Denver drafts a right tackle with one of their second or third round picks they have from the Rams, and they got one of their own thirds. So I'd like to see Calvin Anderson go out and, compete, but likely be the backup ultimately. And for 1 year, $2.5 million, I can live with it. Next player up is Alex Singleton. He comes over from Philadelphia, an average grade C. He started 8 games last season for the Eagles, entering his 4th year now. He'll be a special teams player who, if there's an injury, he'll be one of the first linebackers to enter the starting rotation. Kind of like when Johnson and Jewell went down last year. You saw players like Kenny Young, who they traded for, by Baron Browning, step up. That'll be Singleton if that situation comes up. Ultimately, he signed a 1 year, just a little over $1 million guaranteed. The only contract details we have out so far. Again, this is a special teams type of player and a good depth piece at the linebacker spot. It's an average signing. DeShawn Williams returns as well, help out on that defensive line. Again, like Singleton, another C grade. I wouldn't say these are boring signings, but this is the NFL. Not every single pick and every single signing can be a home run. He ultimately gets inked to a $1.16 million contract on a 1-year deal for Williams. So hopefully to see him improve a little more competitiveness, most likely we'll say, at the defensive line position, especially you moved on from Harris, so you have a little extra training camp battle. Next signing, Andrew Beck, kind of your tight end / fullbacks flex. It's just 3 straight average signings, right? It's just nothing that's too wild about these signings. And for Beck, he signs a 1 year, $1.25 million contract. If anything, curious to see how Hackett incorporates your fullback and tight end into the offense a little bit more. Didn't see a whole bunch of that under Fangio and Shermer last year. We'll see what Hackett has in store. Final 4 free agency grades. Eric Tomlinson, the tight end, more of a run blocking tight end. He's not going to catch many passes. C+. You needed to find another tight end after trading Noah Fant, so a little better than average, I guess. J.R. Reed, C-. I don't know. Producer Marsh, Giants guy. When I said, hey, we signed the Giants, he's like, who? That's like, oh, okay, he's got to be really good then. Josh Johnson, A+, baby. He's going to give Russ a run for his money as he's on his 13th NFL roster. He's in leagues that have not only folded, but are no longer on Wikipedia. That's how much of a legendary Josh Johnson he is. Love this signing. Think he was with the Ravens last? What a legend. Ben Braden, he's also another Packers free agent signing. He'll help on the interior offensive line. C-, not a ton of money devoted to him. Maybe one of those cut candidates we do in August if he isn't, in shape and ready to push Cushenberry, Miners, Reisner, and Glasgow on that interior offensive line. That's going to do it for us on today's show. Hope you guys enjoyed my free agency grades. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree with them. And also, while you're doing that, make sure you subscribe. That way you stay in the know all season long and all off season about the latest Broncos news and rumors.